Fellow vets, stop doing these 3 things at your compensation and pension exam. Everyone knows that if you've been through the VA disability process before, your CMP exam is the most important day of your entire VA claim. And I see these 3 mistakes happen over and over again. So help yourself out. Watch this whole video to completion, as it could just save your entire claim. I'm Jordan Anderson with VA Claims Academy. If this video helps you out, hit the like button and share it with someone who needs it. The first major pitfall to avoid is at the mental CMP exam. So your mental claim is going to be a large percentage of your overall compensation, so that's why I'm starting with it. It's massively important, and a lot of people mess this up. So first of all, you can be having an in-person exam, or you could be having a virtual exam. Either way, these tips apply. Something that I see is veterans talking too much to their examiners about things that don't really benefit them. More specifically, you're likely going to be asked questions. Maybe you're applying for PTSD, you have some combat-related trauma, and this is affecting you mentally now. Your examiner sort of is trained to ask you about your childhood. People who expound way too much on this, hey, my parents were divorced, yeah, it really made me sad, and this affects me, yada, yada, yada. If you're spending all of that time speaking about something that is not how your service-connected condition or your condition was caused by this in-service event, you're in the wrong, I'm telling you. If you're there and you're speaking too much about things that, again, aren't relevant to a compelling, truthful way to frame your story, then it's not going to turn out well for you. So again, acknowledge the truth. Hey, my parents got divorced. Yeah, it sucked for a little while, but other than that, my childhood was pretty normal. What I'm really here to speak about today, and what really affects me mentally, is this combat-related event, or this event in service, this diagnosis that you're there for. So in summary, you need to stay on target with your mental condition, because again, they might ask you for certain things, and just know that this examiner is not your friend, and also they're not there to treat you. This is not a medical treatment process. This is a legal process. So you don't have to keep divulging your certain things like you're getting treated, because you're not there for that. You have a very limited scope of what is relevant as far as your VA claim, so you need to go in knowing that and limiting what you speak about only to that. Anything else that they try to get you to go off on a tangent for, acknowledge it, and then pivot directly again to what you're there to speak about. Now, number 2 is for my veterans who have physical injuries. So that's, most of us who have physical ailments from service, you're gonna need to listen up. This contraption that you're seeing right now, this is called a goniometer. Compensation and pension examiners, when you go in for a back examination, a knee, your ankle, your wrist, they're required, and you actually sign sort of a waiver stating that, hey, I verified that my examiner is utilizing this goniometer. So that's number 1, is make sure your examiner is utilizing the goniometer, because here's what you need to do. Most of your physical ailments, knee, back, ankles, like I said, are measured and you're rated on solely your range of motion. So how much can you move the joint? Most things past a certain point, sometimes you'll get 10% for the presence of painful motion or pain, but beyond that, your pain does not matter. And most vets go on and on and on, which is understandable because, they're experiencing all of this pain and they're finally speaking about it. So they're just, laying that onto the examiner, not knowing the entire time that really how you're rated is right here. So that brings me to my tip, which is for any of your physical ailments, don't push past the point of pain. I say this all the time. Of course, I go in depth into this for my clients, but don't push past the point of pain. This is not an NFL combine. You're not trying out for some Olympic team. You are there to get examined. This is a legal process. You are no longer in the service, so this is not a lawful order where, again, you have to put yourself last, put service first. No, this is for you to get examined, to get an accurate picture of your service-connected injuries. So if you're pushing past the point of pain being a hero, you're just doing your household a disservice, and no one's really going to thank you for it. What you need to do, when you have pain, first of all, when you're told to, let's say, bend forward for your back, you need to ask the examiner, hey, do you want me to stop when I feel a sharp pain? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. Sometimes they may say no. It doesn't matter. They are not the boss of you. You stop when you feel uncomfortable, period. You are not there to suffer for anyone else. Hey, as a thank you for watching this long, and by the way, hit the like button if this has been helpful, I'm going to give you a quick bonus before we get to number 1. What are some of the things that you need to bring with you to your compensation and pension exam? Well, I'm going to tell you, you should probably bring your relevant medical records printed off with you. Why is that? Because most of the time you're going to be seen not by the VA themselves, but by a VA contractor. This could be QTC, this could be OptumServe, a bunch of different companies that do the C&P exams on behalf of the VA, but they're civilian contractors. So what does the VA happen in true form? Well, they don't send your medical records sometimes. So you'll be there at your C&P showing up prepared, and they'll treat you like you're brand new. Hey, sorry, we don't know anything about you. Not a great scenario. So bringing those relevant medical records could be a lifesaver for your claim if and when this happens, which is pretty often. Next, and this is hugely important, especially for your mental claim, you're going to want to bring with you your personal statements. Print it off, bring the lay evidence, and especially for your mental one, you can, again, if you feel like you're being a politician and reading off of notes and things, you can be honest with them. Hey, part of my mental condition is I get forgetful, especially with stressful situations like this. I hope you don't mind. I brought a couple of notes so I can accurately describe for you what we're doing here efficiently. They will be totally fine with it. And if not, who cares? You're there, you brought your notes, it's totally legal. Absolutely do it. So bring your personal statement and more on personal statements on my channel because I harp on it all the time. They are a key to getting rated properly what you deserve. So definitely bring those. All right, let's get into it. And finally, number 1, and this I see happen all the time, not only in compensation and pension exams, but this is something that you need to be cognizant of throughout your entire VA claim. Here's what I mean. When you go to your C&P exam, you're actually not speaking to the C&P examiner. You have to think of it as you're speaking to the VA rater, right? Your rating adjudicator. Why is that? Your C&P examiner is essentially there to fill out this DBQ, the Disability Benefits Questionnaire. That's the form that they're filling out when you're there, and this goes directly to your VA rater. So in order to get rated as best as you can and as accurately as you can, you have to put your mindset as thinking like a VA rater. Here's what I mean specifically. The VA rater needs to know the following 3 things in order, and here's where people mess it up. Number 1, do you even have a medical diagnosis at all? So does your condition exist, right? So that's number 1. If the answer is yes, then we move on to, is your condition service connected or service related? So you're talking about an in-service event. How did your service create this condition? Or how did an already service-connected condition lead to this condition? How many times am I going to say that word? That's number 2, okay? And then, and only then, do you get into, okay, how severe is this? How severe is this condition? Where veterans mess up is they go into the C&P exam and they don't really think about the first 2. Some will go in without a diagnosis at all. I'm telling you, if you're going to your exam without a diagnosis, you've probably messed up somewhere along the way. You need a medical diagnosis. Also, don't go directly to talking about your severity in terms of, hey, I know it's painful, but you gotta really make sure to be compelling that this is even service connected to begin with, and then severity matters. People go in talking about their severity. Yes, my back hurts when I do this. My sleep apnea makes me tired when I'm doing this. But you need to spend time speaking and attesting to the fact that this was connected to your service. So in summary, make sure you slow it down and listen to what they're asking you. Are they asking about, my diagnoses? Are they asking about how this was connected or how this was caused by my service? Or are they asking about my severity? But you need to go ahead and be compelling with all 3 things. The records will take care of that. The medical records. If you have medical records where your diagnosis is on there, that takes care of number 1. Now you have to go to 2 and 3. How it's connected to your service, and then the severity. All right? I really hope this helps y'all out. Again, hit the like button if it did. Share it with someone who needs it. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.